In this video, we're going to go over the creation of these signature panels in the Form Manager. I've had quite a few requests on explaining how to do this, and it's very difficult to do over the phone. So we have here Form Open in Form Manager, and so under the signature panels, switch over here to a Run Form. Your signature panels are going to be driven based off of the disposition. So we have it set up here if let's say canceled prior to arrival. Your signatures are going to show crew signatures because that's all we're going to require. And if you see here to add, it's just going to give the two options here for the primary and secondary crew signatures. Or if we change it to a transport disposition, we go here, transport signatures, and it's going to give you more options. And of course, this is going to be dependent on what your local area requires. So this is how we build it. For each call disposition type, you're going to have to create a new panel, and then you use your visibility rules to have these show based on what the disposition is. So crew signatures would be for any transport where all you need is a crew signatures. You don't need anything from a patient or a receiving facility. Transport signatures would include patient signature and maybe a receiving facility. So again, it just depends on what your local area requires. Now for each of these, you're going to have a subset of signatures, and if you see here when I click on these, they're all called the same here. They're all called signatures. Right, and then when you go into each of these, you're going to have additional grids set in there. So as you create new items here, these are the items that are showing here. If we go to transport signatures, these items here are the ones that are going to show up here. Right? We'll switch back here. Now for each of these are essentially copies with the same information. So if we open this up, all the fields that we see here, and again this is going to be dependent on your area, but all these fields are going to be the same regardless of which one you open. They're all the exact same. The only difference being is the default values that you want to put in. So for the patient signature as an example, we'll open this one up and type a person signing. When you click on it, you see we have a default value of a patient because it's a patient signature. And then on the reason, the default value is the HIPAA and release for billing. And again, dependent on your area. And then, okay, I got to go back. They're not all identical, so you're going to have some fields that are specific to a signature type. So patient signature, I get patient name, and then for the crew signatures, there's a field to get the crew member's name. Then we go down here to signature status. This will default as signed. The reason being that if obviously if the crew is opening this up and creating a signature here, they're doing it to get a signature, right? So if they end up not able to get a signature from the patient, then they just cancel it. They don't have to worry about it. So any time that they open it, we're going to go off the assumption that they're going to get a signature on it. And again, that's just one less field that they have to fill out or make a selection on. And then the language, we wanted to put a default there. We're defaulting it to English. The reason you want to do that is because if that is blank, you're not going to get anything showing in here. So we'll go to patient signature. So all this language you set up for your agency. So if you don't have anything selected, you see the text disappears. So you want to make sure that you've got a default of something in there, so you're always going to have something showing there. We'll go back here and back. So now, based on your area's requirement, we have it set up here where you need to get a patient signature. If you can't get a patient signature, you have to get a patient rep signature, or if the patient or a rep is unable to sign, we have to do a PUTS. So when you do your rules, and using this in an example, we have a rule set up where for every transport, we want to get at least one of these three. we want to get primary and secondary crew members and a receiving facility signatures. So the field is going to remain red until you get each of those signatures to validate it. And then for this here, if you elsewhere here in the report, we have the option to select whether the patient had valuables. If the user selects yes, then this is going to validate whether, or actually it'll just show visible where they have the ability to fill that out and get a receiving facility receipt of patient valuables. And just to show you how that works, so we've got, again, the disposition is transport, so we have transport signatures. So we're going to add a patient signature here. And I don't think I have a patient entered in here. I don't. So when a crew is filling this out, all they need to do really is click that to get the patient's name, have the patient sign, click that for the date, and they're good to go. So it's very quick and easy to do, and it's always going to have the right thing selected. You don't have to worry about them making the correct choice, because we know that's not going to be consistent. Then we'll add receiving facility. Signature, stamp it, and that's good. And then we also need both crew members here. And secondary. And see, now the red is gone, so it's fully validated. Now if we were to get rid of the patient's signature, it'll go red again, but we can do a patient representative signature. And again, you've got your defaults here based on your area. So you got the patient medical necessity unable to sign in here. Alright, and then this has got separate language relative to the fact that it's a representative signing. And again, that validates it, so it's good. So for those three, for the transport, any one of those three are gonna validate. Good. And then on a later video, I'll go over and I'll show how we do the validation for those. It's essentially a count of signatures for the different types. So if it's counting less than one, then it's going to be invalid. So that's it for the signatures. Thanks for watching. Talk to you later.